welcome back. Do you know who I am? I'm Donna from ABC Cake Decorating and Baking Supplies. We are now on to lesson 17. Lesson 17 is going to be medium consistency icing again, and we're going to be learning how to make the chrysanthemum and the sunflower. If you were with me in lesson 16, we did the bachelor button. That wasn't too difficult, was it? So now we're going to be able to do 2 flowers at one time. What's cool about the sunflower is you can pipe it directly on the cake or you can pipe it on the flower nail. Chrysanthemum, I do like to pipe on the flower nail. And if you remember, we're going to use the standard size flower nail. And if you're left-handed, you're going to go counterclockwise. If you're right-handed, you're going to go counterclockwise. What we have here is, this is tip 12. Now you can use a tip 12, and a tip 12 is really nice because as we go into the roses and things, we're going to be wanting to use the tip 12. But if you don't have a tip 12 right now, don't fret because you can still make this flower. A trick, just use the coupler right here. We're just going to take off our icing right here. And what you can do is we're going to just do our little dollop of icing. And we do that, why? It holds our paper in place, remember? So we put our paper down. So now we have our parchment paper. When you're using buttercream icing, you can either use parchment paper or wax paper. When you get into other icing, sometimes it's very particular, you do need wax paper. So using parchment or wax paper for this, not going to matter. So now we have our icing down. Now again, like we did with the bachelor button, we piped a little thing, a dot of icing. This one here is going to be just a little bit bigger. So that's why you can either use your coupler or you can use a tip 12. We're just going to go ahead, up and down. We're going to squeeze, do our dot of icing. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with, and what's nice about this flower is it only uses 2 tips. The 81 tip, let me put this down a second and talk about the 81 tip just a little bit. If you're not sure what the 81 tip is, and let me kind of clean it out a little bit, it's a tip that kind of looks like a smile. What that's going to do is that is going to give us kind of a channel in our flower, so as we come up, similar to the bachelor button, we're going to start on the outside and slowly come up to make kind of like a pom-pom. This here, kind of as you squeeze and curve up, it kind of makes a channel so you get kind of that mum-looking petal on that flower. So it's nothing more than basically, let me make sure it's nice and clean, nothing more than just a smile. Now these come in different sizes too, so depending upon how big of a flower you want to make would determine how many petals or how big of one of these you want to go, okay? So simple here. This one's probably even a little bit easier than the bachelor button. So we want to make sure that our tip, that the smile is upright. Now, as I do this flower, if I refer to it as a mum, that's just short for chrysanthemum. So if you hear somebody saying, oh, I just made a mum, or let's make a chrysanthemum, it's basically the same thing. And also, these flowers come in so many different colors. Do have to tell you though, if you make it in kind of like a avocado green, it looks almost just like an artichoke. So if you want to make an artichoke, make a green mum. So here we are, straight up and down, or I'm sorry, straight even with our flower nail. We're going to squeeze, and we want to make sure, just like with our bachelor buttons, we want to make sure we attach the icing right to our dot so that it will stick. Now we're going to squeeze. As we squeeze, we're going to pull out. And we want to do about the same. We want to do about 1.5 inches. Now when we're done, what we want to do is we want to come up just a little bit. So that petal wasn't so pretty because sometimes it's hard to talk and pipe at the same time. So we're going to squeeze, come out, and come up. See how it gets that little kick on it? Right next to it, squeeze, come out, and kick up. Squeeze, come out. And they don't have to be absolutely perfect. This is one of those things. Just like in nature, it's just, they're all handmade. You're not a production. You're making these all by hand. with love. So we're just going to squeeze and we're just going to continue to come around. And then just like in the bachelor button, as we're done, we're going to continue to come in. We're going to stagger our petals and make them shorter each time. Now we're going to come in, we're going to come up just a little bit. Now if you notice, I'm not straight out even with the flower nail. Look at my positioning and look at where my flower nail, how I'm turning it. I'm turning it counterclockwise for righties. Squeeze, and we're going to squeeze. And then we're just going to keep going around. And as we come around, make sure you kind of curve it up because it is kind of a button flower too. So we're curving up. And what's nice about this flower is if the petals aren't perfect, there's so many petals in here that we're just kind of cramming together to make this flower, you'll never even notice them. And then we're going to come up a little bit more. We're just going to keep staggering it. And these look really pretty when you do them in a bunch of different colors, just like a rainbow of colors. Fall colors, if you do these in like a gold, and then this here is kind of a combination of mauve and burgundy. You can also, in the spring, if you do them with like pink and kind of like a pretty blue and a bright yellow, oh, they make such a beautiful basket. They're also pretty to put on if you do a bunch of little ones and you do them on cupcakes. It's just a beautiful color burst. So see, I just keep coming in, pulling up, and see how this flower is just filling in so nicely. Now when I get to the middle, what I do is I just make sure you don't want them to even finish perfect. You kind of want to just come in here and just kind of make it to where the flower fills right in. And then there you are. That's your chrysanthemum. 2 tips or maybe even 1 tip if you have a coupler and you've got it. And then because it's on our paper, we'll take it, we'll set it aside, and there you go. Now let's go on to our sunflower. Our sunflower is very, very easy. That's probably going to be one of the easiest flowers, but it's one of the prettiest flowers I think you'll ever gonna, because you can make it a sunflower, you can make it a brown-eyed Susan. It's so pretty, and it can be, you can make it white, you can make it yellow, you can whatever color you want. Okay, with that one, we're going to be using, this is our leaf tip, a 352. If you notice, this is nothing more than just leaves. And if you remember making the grass, the center of this is a 233. It's just a grass tip. And you already got your sunflower. To do the sunflower, like I say, you can either do it on your flower nail. If you want to practice, it's nice to also just take and draw a circle and just practice doing your pull-out leaves on the circle. So you can make them large, small, whatever you'd like. So here, since we already have icing on here, we're going to go ahead and just take our paper, put it on here. Just want to make sure your paper sticks. Nothing worse than not having enough icing on here as you start. Oh, so many people, when you get into roses and stuff, they'll make them and then they'll fall right off, and it's so sad. So want to make sure that the paper's on there nice, okay? Again, what we want to do is we want to go ahead without our 352. Now this is there's kind of a different way you can do the sunflower. You can either do it making, you know, the little ball like we did the chrysanthemum, or like this one, I just pulled them out. So if you want to do it with a little ball, you can go ahead and just take your coupler again and just pipe your little dot on there, and then you can do your pull-out leaves that way. Or you can just pipe it flat, which is the one I'm going to do this time. So same way here after you've got your ball, and then all you're going to do here is take, the nice thing about having a ball is you've already got your circumference, you already have your circle, so you know where your leaves need to go. If you don't have it and you're not so sure you can make a nice little circle, you can actually just come in here, draw a circle, and then you can just pipe around that too. So it's up to you. If you want a little bit more lift to your your sunflower, then just pipe a dot on there. Remember, with our 352 tip, we're gonna hold it straight up and down. Just kind of remember a baby bird. Feed me, Mom. This is exactly what that is. What we're gonna do is we're gonna start really close to our circle. And if you want a larger one, then just draw a larger circle. We're gonna, again, we're gonna go straight. We're gonna follow our flower nail and go straight. So here we are, we're gonna squeeze, and then we're gonna pull out, and we're gonna squeeze and pull out. All we're doing here, just elongated, nothing more than just elongated leaves. And we're just gonna go around. This guy's gonna be kind of little. So if you're wanting to put these on some type of little cupcake or something, then we're gonna come in here, we're gonna come up just a little bit and stagger it. So see, we're just staggering it just a little bit. Then, one of the things I want to show you is if you don't want to, oh, well, let me show you this first. If you have some that are a little too long, you can come in here and you just can kind of pinch off the edges. This is kind of a trick. It's like, you don't have to start it all over again. If you don't want to make a bunch of icing and you just need a temporary color, these here are really nice. They're already pre-colored for you. I think I talked about this in some of the earlier lessons. And all you need is just the coupler nut and our 233 tip, which is our grass tip. And all you do is like this. So this is icing already pre-made in a bag. And what I want to do here is I always want to make sure I squeeze it out first to make sure that my tips aren't messed up. And then here, all we're going to do is we're just going to pipe in nothing more than just our grass. We're just going to kind of come around it a little bit. Whoop. There we are. And there's your sunflower. So very, very simple. And again, if you're wanting to, you can take and you can pipe a sunflower right on a cupcake. A cupcake makes a perfect flower nail. So any of these flowers that we're doing, you can do them right on a cupcake. Also, this one is so easy that you can actually just, because when we start doing leaves and you're just kind of filling in spaces, sunflower is a pretty easy flower to do just right on your cake. Okay, so practice, and when we come back, we are going to learn how to make a ribbon rose and a rose. Hope to see you soon. Thank you for watching.